Seeing this. Okay. All right. So, welcome to our month end power hour. I'm really excited about this call. Lindsay should be on shortly, but we did one of these, was it last week? And they're just so fun. It's fun to come together and to work together and to kind of just like collaborate on something that we're all doing, but we might need a boost, or we might need, a little bit of advice or another perspective. And that's what's so fun about doing this together. So, um, a couple things that I want to start with. So, I love to start with just kind of the vision and the mindset behind what we're doing. So, I think that we always need to get into a place of like, if we're going to sit here and work and we're going to have a solid work hour, we want to get into like the mindset of what we're doing here and what we're here to do, and kind of revisiting a few things that I think are important to talk about. So, I want to kind of like just quickly paint this vision for you. I know you guys like know what we're doing here. We all know what we're doing here, but I think it's good to revisit what we're doing together, because this should pull at your heartstrings if it doesn't. I remember, so I'm going to go back to like when I decided to pivot to Green Compass. I remember jumping on a call with Emily Beal, which is it was Allie and Emily Beal, and I believe Emily Ritzer was on there. But Emily Beal is the top earner in the company, and I remember getting on that call, and I remember um, I knew what both of those girls were making. That was like, oh, holy cannoli, okay. And I just, that right there blew me away. But I had already realized what we had here, because organic plant to heal women, to help women, to give them a tool to support their anxiety and all the things was right up my alley. That was right there enough for me to be like, okay, because my journey is anxiety and my story is a lot about that, and I struggle, and I know how many women struggle, and men and all the people, right? But we typically talk to a lot of women, so that's why I typically say women, but I mean like a huge array of people. But and then I started to realize like what CBD really does. And really quickly, I had this conversation with Katie today, and I want to share this because if this is something that helps you, then I want to share it. So, um, Katie Lambert and I, she's on here. We talked today about what I say, and I kind of do this. So when I'm having conversations with people, I like to share what we're doing here. I want to give people some hard, fast, direct, straight nuggets that are going to inspire them to want to join this or try this. Right. So I like to dive in, and I'm just going to quickly say, I'm going to spat off what I would say in a voice clip to somebody who's interested, because this kind of goes along with painting the vision. Okay. So I'll say something like, "Hey, so the what I use my regimen, because a lot of people are asking about my regimen right now and what I'm using, because I'm sharing a lot about my tools for anxiety." Okay, so I'll just dig right in and I'll say, "Hey, the regimen that I use is actually organic CBD. I knew nothing about CBD before I started using this. I've been through the ringer with my anxiety. I've literally tried everything under the sun supplement wise, and nothing's worked. Once I realized when I started using this, once I realized what it was doing for me, and then I realized how CBD works in the body, and basically CBD comes into the body and it harmonizes the systems so that everything can function and flow in the way that it's supposed to. So women notice decreased inflammation because they're losing stubborn weight that they haven't lost in years. They notice that their hormones are balancing because they're having regular periods and they're not having hot flashes. They're sleeping like through the night solid, right? They're getting restorative sleep, and their anxiety is lowering because it makes sense. If we're healing the gut and we're helping all of these systems and we're putting the body into balance, it's going to work, right? And we're going to see a positive effect. And so I paint that picture right there. And then I say, I would love to know what you're going through or what you're struggling with, because I could then explain what regimen I think would be right for you. And I would love to do that. And if we're talking about anxiety, I'm going to tell you that there's two products right off the bat that are specific for anxiety that work on the same receptors that antidepressants or anti-anxiety drugs or SSRIs, whatever you want to call them, work on. And so it's super effective, which I always recommend for that. If I'm specifically talking about anxiety, just for those that want to know, I recommend the jellies, whatever they can have, depending on what they can have, THC or not, and the CBDA. Okay, that's what I'm going to start them with. And then I briefly talk about, and this might seem long winded, but I'm very quick, and this takes me about 2 clips. Okay. And then I briefly go into the fact that um, nobody has what we have with our CBD. If you've tried CBD before and it didn't work, chances are it wasn't quality. We use only the flower, so we have we have an incredible quality product, and we have a 95% absorption rate with our products. So it's super effective, and you will notice results. So what are you going through? Because I would love to know, because then I can explain like what products I would recommend for you. It's legal in all 50 states. There's nothing to fear. This is the hemp plant, not the marijuana plant. Boom. And then I usually tie it up with like, just let me know and I'll send you whatever. Okay. So right there, like I kind of gave them, like, I think that that's a common question of like, what are you saying? What are you doing to get these people to jump, or to get these people to jump in, right? Because we don't want to give them all the things, because they don't need all the information. They really just need some nuggets. They need to know that this is effective, and they need to know maybe a tiny bit about what it's done for you. And then we want to throw the ball back in their court. Okay. So with that being said, kind of going back to, I just wanted to share that because it was on my mind, and it sort of flowed into what I was sharing. But I knew when I joined this, I already had belief in the product. Okay. So I believe it. And I want to know kind of, I would love for you to ponder and think about, like, where's your belief at? Like, where's your belief at with this? Because it's got to be high. It's got to be strong. And it's okay if you're like unsure about, like, I don't really know how to verbalize what you just did with what you just said. Like, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable or confident sharing that yet. Totally fine. I've been doing this since July, and I've had massive amounts of conversations with people, and this wasn't always how I described it. Okay. So, and I want you to know that I also share this to be transparent. And most of you guys know this, but I just had a really rough go with anxiety, where I was completely not working my business for 2 to 3 months. And I had to kind of have my comeback, which I had to get out of my own head to do some things um, to kind of get on top again, if that makes sense, because sometimes we all lack confidence depending on what we're going through, and that's really normal. But if you have the belief and you have the vision and you know what we have here, and if you don't, like, I would love to have a conversation with you, just revisit some of the Green Compass videos and things. But so I want you guys to kind of revisit your vision with this, because as we end this month incredibly strong, I want you guys to know that we have just had such an incredible month as a team. We are growing so much. And each and every one of you are making a difference with sharing this. And I always say this, but we literally hold such a gift in our hand to help people and give them this tool that's incredible. We can't even fathom sometimes, like, we're all different humans, but we can't sometimes fathom what this is going to do for people, because you guys get the testimonies, you've seen them, right? We don't even know sometimes what we're going to get when we give these products to someone. We don't know. Like, they say, oh, I have anxiety. Okay. But then they send us a whole slew of things that this has helped with. And then it's just like, it's magical. Right. And so I believe so much in this, like I've never believed before. As far as in, I've been with other companies, I've seen other things, and there is nothing like what we have here, as far as the quality of the product, the standards, the transparency, the heart behind this. You guys, there are companies right now that are going, and I'm not going to go into this really, but there are companies that are going through some major deceiving, I don't even know the word, that they're doing to their community and to their advocates, or whatever they call themselves. Some really dishonest, wild stuff that I've never even heard of. And so I'm just so grateful to be where we are, because when you guys, if you guys go to conference, or if you've been on a call with Meredith or Sterling and any of the other people from corporate, you will understand. You will just know. You will know it's genuine, and you will know that you're where you're supposed to be. And that feels really good, because I've been in places where I have, not really known if this is where I'm supposed to be. And so I hope you guys feel that. And I hope you guys know truly how how much you're impacting people. And I don't care if you haven't shown up as much as you have wished you would this month, or stuff's happened and you just are like, man, I just wish I would have done X, Y, or Z. Well, that's fine. We all have that, and that's okay. And here's your chance right now to just say, okay, like, here I am. I'm recommitting. I've said this a million times, that you can recommit to your business over and over and over again. And it always looks different. But the cool thing is you know more now than you did when you first committed. So now you just take what you know and you expand, right? So I would love to know. So something else that I wanted to share before we kind of dig in, um, I would love to know, if you had to guess, if you just had to guess, how many conversations do you think you've had this month about the business and about about like as a customers, okay? And like, you like, I couldn't even tell you. I don't even know. I mean, I would say like I've had, and I don't say this, I don't share this to scare you guys or anything. I only share it to make aware of, like, sometimes we're in this and we're like, I can't get anybody to join, or I can't get anybody to do this, or this, what's, and I can't grow my business, whatever. Well, I want to ask you how many conversations you're actively having, because, and I'm not saying we have to like go crazy and spend all day messaging people forever and ever. But I'm just saying, it's good to take a good, if you want to take a good look at where your business is, and maybe why you're lacking new PCs, and maybe why you don't feel like you have anyone interested in the business. And there's other things that we're going to talk about with posting and stories and showing up. But like, I don't even know. I would say like I've had like hundreds. Sheila, okay, one a day. I think that's great. Like, honestly, that is consistent measures. Like, you got to start somewhere, and it depends on your goals. Like, we're not all here to replace an income, we're not all here to so don't like be hard on yourself. I'm only asking that question because if we don't reflect on what we've done this month, and we don't have to be hard on ourselves, and we don't have to beat ourselves up, but if we don't reflect and kind of reevaluate what we've done, then how will we set ourselves up for May, right? How will we go into May being like, okay, here's strategically, I like to strategize and I like to be strategic, and I like to think about, if I want to get here, what do I got to do to get there, right? And it's not going to happen overnight, but what are the steps, consistent action that I can take? And conversations are where it's at. I don't care if you share stories or posts until the cows come home. I want to tell you that I shared a story. So my algorithm has been okay. My views on my stories are like terrible. So I took 24 hours off, which I needed for my mental health anyways. And so I got back on my stories and I had like 600 views, okay, on my very first story, which is really high for me because I don't usually get that. Maybe it was over 600. But anyhow, I put up a poll and I asked about like anxiety, and I had a spit because I thought, here's an interesting thing and something you need to think about. If you're going to take 24 hours off of social media to reset your algorithm, you need to come back with something interactive that's going to kind of grab people. And I talked about specific anxiety things that I go through, and I put a poll up. Okay. I never have people respond to my poll, like rarely. Okay. I have maybe like 4 or 5 people, maybe 2 sometimes. I had like 45 people respond to this poll. Okay. I went through every single person that I had never talked to, and I asked them the question. I just said, hey, how are you? I just wanted to ask. You might not be interested, but I didn't know if you have any interest in trying CBD. I saw you related with the post, the story I shared, blah, blah, blah. I would love to share this with you. You know, it's helped me XYZ. Would you want information? Do you know how many people responded to that wanted information? I think at least 4 or 5. That's pretty good. Okay. But my point in saying that is they weren't going to come to me. They saw all the stories I had after I shared that original story about CBD. I've shared it multiple times since yesterday, business, product, whatever. And they're not coming to me. Like, they're not reaching out, right? And so we have to be proactive in our business too, and not feel like we're being a pain or a pest to people. We have a service and we have a really great one, and we have this awesome tool. And so it's up to us to reach out, okay? So I hope that kind of gets you inspired. I hope that you will give yourself love and grace for where you are in this business right now, because we're not all the same. We're not all in the same place, but we're all doing the same thing, and we're all here together to do that. So As we dig in, so Lindsay's on her way, so she is almost to get on this call. I'm just gonna kind of fly by the seat of my pants like I typically do. And we are going to dig into the first thing that I think is so important as we try to close the month here. So I want you to take this time and you can unmute yourself. You can ask a question if you have one. I'm going to put up some verbiage in here, but right now I would recommend doing some follow-ups, okay? I think right now is a good time to ask some questions. Now you could be doing business follow-ups, you could be doing product follow-ups, you could literally do whatever kind of follow-up you want. But if there's a conversation that has been hanging where you sent someone a link, they were interested, but it just died and nothing was ever, you didn't get to the like answer of like, do you want this or not, and whether or not they're wanting to do it or not. They ghosted you, they said I'm going to look at the information and they haven't got back with you, whatever the case is, it's on you to follow up with that and determine whether or not that message is going to now go in our kind of archive where we're like, okay, they said no, they're not interested right now, okay, I'm going to move on to the next person. Or if it's like they just forgot, they got busy. Okay. So let's, I'm going to put up a follow up in the chat. So you guys, this is simple, but if you guys need verbiage, I'm happy to help with that. You can ask me anything. This is something where I want you to feel guided. I want you guys to feel like you have help to close conversations. But I also know some of us just work good quietly and we can set a timer and we can focus on the follow-ups. And then as we do some, so I'm going to set the timer. I'm going to be quiet for a second. You guys ask anything in the chat. I'm going to get a follow-up message in there. And then I want to kind of briefly talk about closing a conversation and what that looks like, because I think that can be tough and challenging for people. And again, I'm going to tell you to be really direct and I'm going to give you some pointers on how to close. So please type something in the chat if you have a question. I'm going to mute myself and type up this follow-up for you guys. So as far as the cost goes, Jessica, this is a tough one, because at the end of the day, they've got to want to invest in the product. I like to say, like, is there just one thing that you would want to start with? Like, is there one product? Like, sometimes I think the balance, even though the balance and restore is the best bang for their buck, like sometimes people just complicate things and it feels overwhelming to them because they're like, "Ooh, I don't know about a bundle and I don't want to commit to all this." So what if we just start with a product and they get $10 off? If that's still too high, then I don't really think there is a solution to that because they have to want to share or they have to want to bite the bullet, right? Like I had a girl purchase today and I didn't even do a follow. I had done a follow up with her a couple times, and she kind of ghosted me. She was all about it. And then she ghosted me, and I had followed up with her, I think once or twice. And I just was like, all right, whatever, I'm here, and I still will still show up. And I shared on my stories today, and she literally pulled the trigger on the link that I had sent her in her stories when money was an actual issue, I think. But here's the thing, people are going to have an excuse until you show up enough to share, to light their behind, to want to try the products, right? So that's where your education and your excitement and your energy for what we're doing here is going to actually transfer those, typically, in my experience. Um because following up is fine, but at the end of the day, again, they have to want to invest in it. Um so as far as CBD helping hot flashes, to be honest, I don't have like a great theory on that. I just know that women experience the fact that it helps them, and with it just balancing the systems and kind of mellowing things out, and sort of like just, calming things and bringing the body back to homeostasis, women just notice less hot flashes. I don't have like a scientific like answer for that. Besides, I just kind of explain it in the way that it just makes sense, because our bodies are being regulated, and I like to share sometimes with people that we naturally have cannabinoids are found in breast milk naturally. So they are, that's some, sorry, I got distracted because I have a kid that needs picked up. Um, so that's something where I explain to them that, like, we become deficient in cannabinoids unless we utilize the hemp plant, and then that serves those receptors and fills in that gap for us. Yeah, the money back guarantee is really good too. I sometimes forget to share that, and I think that that's key too, because sometimes people just want to know that there's no risk involved. Like, they just want to know that, like, they're going to, be able to, like, if for some reason that this doesn't work, they want to know that they have an out. So there's literally no risk. Um, okay, I'm going to give you guys some more time. Um, Ask me anything else in the chat, and let's try to like knock out at least like 5 follow-ups. Because even though we feel like the urgency to close things tonight, all of this work you're doing right now is going to start your May very strong.
Oh, hey, I thought I'd maybe jump on for a minute, see how it's going.
Hey, were you getting on the call tonight or what?
I was like, I kept going back and forth. It was messed up.
I'm I'm glad you can make it.
Sorry, man.
It's all good. It's all good. We're gonna let them finish their follow-ups and then we're gonna get after some more.
I was born ready.
All right. I love it.
I'm glad you got on, Lindsay. It's Sheila. Hi.
Hi, you know what happened is the universe wants me to relax. It's made me relax all weekend. And then today I had a nail appointment at 4:30 and I just got home. A nail appointment.
Would they do like an extensive like design?
They painted my whole leg.
Oh shoot.
I had like my pedicure and then she started doing my manicure and then I had to sit for a minute because the woman that was going to do my nails wasn't ready. So then when she finally got to me, I was like, shoot, I got to reschedule Kelsey at 6:30. So I rescheduled Kelsey. And then I was like, dude, I'm going to have to maybe be like a couple minutes late.
2 or 3.
Wow. It's kind of crazy. I don't know. But here I am.
I've been that way before with that place. Like you just never know.
You know
Okay.
what?
Megan's asking, hold on. Megan's asking, what would you do if you see someone looks at your message but doesn't respond? Do you reach out again or leave it be? So I do reach out again. I would give it like maybe a couple days and I would just say, hey, like, because here, it kind of just depends. Like, here's something interesting. I have a lot of people that ask for information and then I give them the information and then they ghost me. Like, you're the one that wanted the information. So this doesn't make sense because you're ghosting me. So do you want the information or not? But if it's someone who like you reached out to and they totally ghosted you and there was really they didn't really want the information, but maybe you were just being bold and wanted to ask the question, it could go both ways. I mean, I don't just let things die typically, but I also am not going to force something that's just not needing or wanting to, so it kind of, you just be the judge of that. But if it's someone who wanted information and they were interested and then they like start ghosting you, I'm pretty like persistent for a couple messages to follow up to see what we need to do here. And if they still ghost me, then I'm like, okay, I'm putting my energy into somebody else.
I have something to share.
Do it.
Since I showed up, I might as well say something today. But this is like one of my favorite things ever because I'm all about not having elephants in the room. So for me, when someone looks at the message and they don't respond, I also assume that they might be like me. Sometimes I look at the message when I'm waiting for something and then I'm like, shoot, I need to respond in a minute and I forget because our brains are doing so many things. So I don't assume that people are ghosting me. I assume that they're busy and that's how I talk to them. It gives them permission to then be busy. So I'll respond and say, hey, I saw that you saw it. Would someone look at the message? I saw that you saw it and you must be super busy. I saw that you saw the message and you didn't respond. If you're anything like me, sometimes I do that and then I forget. I just wanted to do my part and follow up. So in case you did want to talk further about this, we can move on. But if you don't, just let me know and I'll go on my way, kind of thing. Like give them the ability to tell you, the choice to tell you. And if they still ghost you at that point, then a couple days later, if they saw it and they still answered, then I just want to make sure if I were to run into anybody at any place, a gas station. I mean, I've been in Wisconsin before and people have come up and been like, I follow you on Facebook. Like people know you everywhere. I always want to feel approachable anywhere I'm at. And so I will say, hey, I noticed that this conversation kind of fell off. I am here when you're ready. I hope you have a great day and I'll talk to you soon. And sometimes it's that message that makes them say, wait, no, I am interested. Or they just continue on their way. That's kind of my little tidbit, but those are actually my favorites. Isn't that funny? Because I like to, I don't know why I like it.
I think that's really good. And let's with saying all of that, let's kind of dive into we don't have to be done with follow-ups, but let's kind of dive into closing because I think that that sort of ties into the verbiage of closing a conversation. And this is so important because if we're going to spend all the time to have all the conversations and reach out and share the information, but we're not going to be able to close them or we don't have the confidence to close them, like we're sort of not, like we're wasting some time and we're not really like getting to the end goal here, right? So I'll share a little bit of that and then Lindsay can kind of give her perspective because she's really great with navigating conversations. So again, I'm very direct And I kind of am just like a no BS, like, let's just get to the point. And not in a rude way or in like a pressuring way, but just like a, I'm here to help you. And like sometimes people, believe it or not, you'd think that they just would click the link and order, but that's not really how it works. They want to, like, sometimes I will literally pin them down in that moment. So if I get someone to say yes to me and they're like, I want to do this, I want to try it, I'm here, yeah, whatever, and they're in, right? We talked about the regimen, we know what's going on. I will say right in that moment, okay, here's the link. Maybe I already sent the link, but if I didn't, okay, here's the link. Do you have time to complete this now so I can check it on my end here in just a minute? And they will almost always say, yes, I do. Because you've given them accountability, and we've got them excited about the products, right? And so we're not trying to persuade them, but we are trying to move them through this process. And while it should not be difficult, it's very difficult for people to do a simple task sometimes. And this is myself included. So, but people, I think, appreciate like that. It's weird, but that accountability and sort of urgency. And another thing that I say to people, because again, if we're talking about painting a vision, like we just painted a little bit of a vision for us in this business, if we paint the vision for them by simply saying, like I've been saying today, if you get your order in today, you'll probably have your stuff by Saturday. And it's like, they're like, okay, because that puts a seed in their brain of like, okay. And then I'm like, you can get started on your products right away, like shipping super fast. Because then they're like, oh, okay. So, okay, if I order today, then I'll get it by Saturday and then I can get started. Because if they want to feel better, then they're going to like, okay. So there's certain things, verbiage that I use to kind of close them. And there's no urgency. It's not like, oh, you need to order today. But if we don't like light a little bit of a fire under their behind sometimes, then we are just going to sit and this conversation's going to sit, it's going to lay around, and we're going to sit here and wonder, should I reach out? Do they want it? Is it something I said? Da, da, da. And when we just need to, like Lindsay said, address the elephant in the room and get them through this process. And they're going to tell you if they don't want to order. They're going to say if they need to talk to their husband, which is my biggest pet peeve. Just by the way, objection. Okay. If they've got to check it with their husband to see if they want to take a CBD that, like, whatever, that's their own body and choice, then that's fine. They can do that. Or if it's a money objection, or if they're like, not right now, I actually like, I just don't think right now, whatever, then that's fine. Perfect. I'll follow up with you later. Can I check back next month? Whatever. But then I can move on, and now I can move that person on, and I can follow up with the next person. Does that make sense? So like Lindsay and I used to kind of train on like how a conversation with someone is almost like a consultation, because you're the expert and you're guiding them through this consultation of how we're going to work this out and get them through the ordering process and what products are best for them.
Yes. If I could kind of talk about closing, this is what I think. I think that so many of us in this space are worried about hounding someone. We're worried about pressuring someone. We're so worried about what they feel like on the other side if we're doing too much that we don't lead them. Closing is leading them. So I'm very confident in the next steps. Awesome. And then this is the other thing. So someone who's going to close a lot of people and somebody who's going to is someone that's confident in it. One, you need to lead them. And two, you need to validate them every step of the way. Like, oh my gosh, yes, let me send you this video. This one blew my mind. You are going to love it. Here you go. Okay. They watched the video. Tell me what you liked best. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, I loved that part too. This was my favorite part. Okay, what other questions do I have? I'm so excited to get you started. They haven't even said they're getting started yet. I am. What other questions do you have? I'm so excited to get you started. They can say, well, I'm not sure if I'm going to get started. I do have to talk to my husband, or I have to do whatever, and that's okay. But your job to confidently close someone is to move them through the conversation, because you're the leader and your excitement, your enthusiasm, and your guidance is what's going to close them. They are not going to lead you to close. And I want you to really take an honest look and like ask yourself, how many times are you waiting for them to tell you they're ready to close? I feel like I used to do this 9 times out of 10. I was just waiting for them to say they're ready, for them to ask for the cart. That's not their job. It's our job. So, okay, great. I'm so excited. And then even if they're like, well, I'm not sure, I just not sure. I'm like, hey, you know what? Let's just do this. You guys so I was doing hair for a long time. When you put a hair product in a cut, like I'm like, okay, so this is the product you're looking for. I put it in my hands. I hand them the products out of my hands. I'm now putting the product in their hair, the product's in their hands. Once the product's in their hand, they have like a 9 out of 10 chance they're probably going to buy it because it's theirs now. They know why they need it, what it's going to do for their hair, and it's in their hand. If I can get them a cart, hey, listen, you know what? Let's just look and see. I did this just earlier today. All the things that we should do, which she's in the process of purchasing right now. She had a question. It's a voice message and I didn't want to listen to it right now. But I need to keep moving her forward. But I was like, listen, I understand. Let's put all this in a cart so you can just see what it looks like. And we can edit the cart to make it what you want. Now the cart's there. The cart's in her hands. We can edit it to make it what you want. Oh, I can't do it over $200. All right, which part's more important for you? Let's take this out then. We can add that in later. How does this cart look for you? You can edit the cart and make it what they need. Even if it's, okay, CBD, that $99 or even just one CBD is too much for me. You guys, you can do a tincture and go lower on and do like the 500 or the 750 milligram, and it's going to be like $60, $70. It's going to be less, and you can start them there, but get something in their hand. So for me, it's giving them something that looks like yours. This is your cart customized for you based on what you said, but we can edit it. So really making sure that you are walking them through, and then it's validating them. Once the cart is there, like, I'm so excited. Let me know what you think. Once they purchase, oh my gosh, you made the best decision. I'm so excited. Let me know when it gets there because I want to talk dosage with you. Here's a little bit of what you'll be doing, but let me know when it gets there. When it gets there, you're thrilled for them again. You are literally confirming the excitement for them because a lot of people, and this is the last thing I'll say here, a lot of people, especially now with the way that the economy is, have buyer's remorse. When they purchase for themselves, when it's above $50, they're going to have some remorse and like, oh, did I really need to do that? So your validation and your excitement helps them to be like, it's okay that I just did that too. So that's kind of what I do and I just take the lead and I take the lead confidently. Like, this is the next step. And they have every right at any point to say, I'm not ready for that step. Right? But I can guide them and lead them. And then if they're not ready, all right, let's talk about that. Right? So you just stay confident with your movements and validating.
Yeah. And I think that, like, so often I remember when I first started in this, like, business, in my businesses, I remember going into conversations and feeling almost desperate. Like, I wanted them to say yes, but I was afraid I was going to screw it up, or that I was going to say something that wasn't going to be like whatever. And it was going to make them like not want to, or wasn't going to say the right thing. And I'm just going to tell you, as you go through this and you keep having conversations and you just fail forward and you do the best you can, you're going to figure this out and you're going to figure out what works. But I now go into my conversations of like confidently waiting for them to tell me that they're going to do this. Like, I'm not fearful of it. I'm not like wondering, oh my gosh, I hope they order. I'm just going into it like every single person that I talk to is going to order, because why wouldn't they? Right. And that's not the case. They don't, but it's just that confidence behind like what we have and knowing that like this is going to help them. And they feel that from you when, they're talking to you, which helps to also close. But it's kind of like getting if you were to like enroll a new advocate, like Lindsay and I talked about this. It's like, they just need simple tasks. They just need to know like, okay, tell me, like, give me this, this, and this, right? It's the same thing with customers. They just need to know, like, it seems so simple, but it's actually like, they just need to know like what they need to do. And they want your recommendations and they want your advice. And I think a lot of times why people like ghost us is because they just don't know. They don't know what to do. They're a little, there's several fearful things there, whether it's money or just the whole product itself. But they just are unsure, right? And sometimes just a third party tool. Another way to follow up is if you haven't sent a third party tool, like a video or something, is to be like, hey, I just wanted to reach back out. And I thought about you and I thought about sending this. If maybe it's just the 2 to 3 minute green compass story, like I thought maybe I could send this, and this might show you the transparency and just how incredible the heart and the mission behind this company and just how incredible this like plant actually is and how it got started, something like that. And sometimes it just takes people another jab to get them to whatever. So yes, I agree. Okay, so now since we have a little bit of time left, let's do, what do we want to do now, Lindsay? We did follow-ups. Do we want to do like new conversations, or what do you think?
Well, I think that we really should, I would say, start new conversations in a very comfortable invite way. Like, I think that you should go look at all of your recent
Yes.
in your recent posts in the last like couple weeks. And it doesn't matter if it's a post about CBD, Green Compass, business, whatever, but one that has a ton of like just one of your higher likes or your higher comments. Go to that post and let's just reach out to those people, because those are people that are watching, those are people that are seeing your content, those are people that support you, right? And we can just reach out to them and just what I like to do, and I don't find this to be icky at all. I mean, these are people that are watching. I would just say to go to that post. Now, when I'm inviting, I like to, this is the thing, you guys, all of this stuff makes the well-oiled machine work well. If you're only doing invites and you're only doing conversations and your content isn't there, you're going to struggle. If your content's there and you're not doing invites and you're not having conversations, you're going to struggle. You can't say you're doing all the things to have a successful business and you're the CEO of your business, and you can't be, sorry, I'm going to get real fresh right now. You can't be disappointed in what you're doing or what you're not doing if you're not doing all of the pieces of the puzzle. You can't be upset that the jigsaw puzzle doesn't look right when you're not doing the outside pieces or the inside pieces. You're only doing one or the other. It all goes together. That's why these are all important. You might think that these pieces aren't important, and you don't need to do them every day. We're not going to sit here and be your drill sergeant and be like, do all these check marks every day, because I don't freaking do them every day. I've done hardly anything today. The universe is making me calm down. But I'll tell you this, and it's like as you go through your home on a weekly basis, my home is never all clean at one time. But the upstairs gets cleaned on Monday. The bathrooms get cleaned on Tuesday. The kitchen gets cleaned on every day, but deeper clean on Wednesday. The floors are always cleaned, but deeper clean on Thursday. By the end of the week, I've done everything a couple times and it's balanced and it's well oiled, even though it's over the course of a week. So I don't want you to stress about the day, but I want you to, to know like you can do all of these things over the course of the week. Set yourself up in your content and your stories every day. Have a post every other day. Have a reel every other day. You're scared of them? Good. Dive in and get unscared. I love you. But it's so easy these days to make a reel now. You don't have to do the voiceovers. It can literally be I could eat this frickin' Chex Mix right now and make a reel. Of me eating Chex Mix, right? And so just do it, but you have to have the outside pieces of the puzzle, and then you have to have the inside pieces of the puzzle. And you can't say this isn't working, and you can't allow yourself to give up if you don't do all the pieces of the puzzle consistently over and over and over again. Not for a week, not for a month, not for 2 months, but stay here all freaking year and then tell me what has changed in your life. Okay. So what I like to do is I have my content out there. I have a post out there. Now let's say I need to invite. I'm never like, who can I bring this up to? I go to a post where yesterday I have one on Facebook. I think that's like almost 200 likes. It's about me just saying, I'm choosing less right now. I'm choosing less of this. I'm choosing less of that. I'm choosing less bullshit. I'm choosing less this. I'm choosing less, right? People like it. That's great. I can go there and all those people I'm going to talk to. And if I'm feeling feisty like today, the last day of the month, I'm going to say, hey, I just saw your name come across my screen because I saw that you liked my post yesterday. Thank you so much for that. I don't know if you've seen recent posts that I've also said about this business and kind of what I've been doing and what's really lit me up and allowed me to be able to do less. There's a little breadcrumb, but anyway, but it's the end of the month. I'm feeling fired up. I'm feeling excited, and I'm just wanting to share this with the world. If I send you some information, would you watch it? That's not weird. And you can send that to 178 people and no one's going to be like, ooh, this is cold. This is weird, right? So that's what I just gave you, like a tangent, because I didn't get to bring the fire earlier. So I had to bring some right now. Because I was stuck. I'm like texting Tabitha. I'm like, nah. But what I'd love for you to do is, first of all, take a deep breath in and understand how capable you are and how easy it is. And it's so much easier than we make it in our mind to put this whole jigsaw puzzle together throughout the week. And you are capable of everything that you want to do here. You're no less capable than Tabitha, than myself, than Abby, than anybody. Take a deep breath in. Breathe in all the goodness, breathe out anything that ever told you that you don't have time or you're not good enough or you don't have the words or nobody's going to join you and you don't know what to do. Because that's not real. That's not real. Isn't that awesome? What's real is your belief in this. What's real is your testimony. What's real is all of our testimonials. What's real is this business opportunity. And what's real is the thing is this. You are capable of doing these simple tasks consistently every single day and showing up. So what I would love to do is go to a recent post or a recent reel where you have a little bit more likes and comments than normal and send a message just like what I just said. I think let's do that for 5 minutes and aim to send it to as many people as you can. For some of you, it might be 5. For some of you, it might be 2. For some of you, it might be 20. And that's great. And then you guys are sending these just as an open door. It's just an open door. If they say no, if they ghost you, that has nothing to do with you. Right? And then from there, let's spend the last 5 minutes looking at the rest of the week, the first week of May, and figuring out when we're going to put all these jigsaw puzzle pieces together. When are our pockets of time and opportunities to be able to make all of this work? Because you guys are also capable. And I get so many people, and this is the last thing I'm going to say because then I'll be quiet, but I get so many people that tell me they don't think it's for them, or they don't have time, or they just can't get it together, or they're just not sure how to do this. And I wish in every single one of those moments that I didn't have the words, because I have to tell them words. That's the way I can deliver. I wish I could literally take the ball of energy out of me that understands how very simple these tasks are. We just make them harder in our human brain, right? And give them that and help everybody to see that it's like, it works if I just do this work consistently. I don't take it personal. I don't make it bigger than it is. I keep it exciting. I keep it fun, and I stay consistent. And at some point, be it a week, a month, 3 months, it's going to work. Right? And once the ball starts rolling, it goes. So let's go ahead and go to a recent post or a recent reel. And this is the language, I would say. And I can type it in there too, but I'm better at just saying it typically. So this is what I would say is, hey, I was just looking, or I just saw your name come across my Instagram or Facebook, right? I just saw your name and I just wanted to say, or I saw that you liked a recent post of mine. I just wanted to ask if you have seen any others recently about this company or this business or these products that I've been using. It's the end of the month, and I know that I'm feeling extremely fired up and just grateful for where I am because of this. And I'm just looking to see if there's anyone else that's where I was and wants to feel like where I am now. Are you interested in hearing anything about this? It gives them the opportunity to say yes, or they have seen what you've been posting or not. So anything like that in your words. Take a deep breath. It's okay. It's just a message. Send it to a few, send it to 5, whatever it is, and then we'll move on. My kids are demons and not staying in their bed. I do sometimes, I reach out to people who love and heart on my posts. So I'm just going to answer this question. I think that it is important to nurture the people that are at your table. And the people that are at your table are all of us on this call, all of our customers, but then everyone that is watching our stories, liking our posts, liking our reels, commenting. So inviting them, but not in a thing where you're thinking that these are your own. The biggest downfall I think in network marketing that people have is they only then invite off their stories, only invite off their posts, because they're only inviting those people where those are the people that are a warmer market. They're watching. It's a little easier to start these conversations. Hey, I saw you liked that post. By chance, did you see the post where I was talking about my business shift? Easy, right? So those are the people that, or hey, I saw you liked that post, or I saw you commented on that post. And then, making sure you're talking to the other people too, but absolutely, reaching out to the likes too. And I'll tell you, you guys, when I was with Body, I would invite off of my stories and my posts every day because that's what I was told to do. And it felt like I was stalking the same people. Where now I check my stories and who views them, and I check who's liking my post maybe once a week. You know what that's freed me of? I don't care how many likes my post gets. I don't care how many views my reel gets. People complain, like even Tabitha the other day was like, "Oh, the algorithm." You know what? I don't pay attention to the algorithm because I know that if I'm doing me and I'm doing the best I can, and I'm watching the new tips and I'm just trying to implement them, I don't need to stress. I'm always going to have what's meant for me as long as I keep going. So it helps me take the pressure off of how many likes, how many comments. I just do me. And I notice what other people like. They like when I'm a little bit more preachy and I'm a little bit more motivational. They like when I'm a little bit more funny in my reels or when I'm talking about the products. That's what people like the most. One time I talked about Body and they really liked that and some really hated it. But I forget what I was just saying right there because I got distracted. But my whole point is that I forget that once upon a time it was invite all those people. So this is what I was saying. I think about once a week or once every other week, do I go and strategically go back and do everyone in my stories, and it's never everyone, it's basically new ones, and then people that like I just intuitively am like, ooh, let me check back in with this person. So keep it consistent, but also keep it intuitive would be like my best advice there. All right, let's take one more minute. All right. So now if you guys have invited or sent that out to a few, I think that's wonderful. That's just something I would get in the habit every other day or every few days kind of doing, or once a week, and just kind of getting used to sending out those messages and just chatting and knowing that they don't feel like the pressure that we think they do. If your energy is in a place of giving the gift and really believing what you're saying, then that's how it'll be received. The only way it's going to be received different is if your energy is there, right? So what I want you to do now is let's look at the first week of May and decide when we can keep our things consistent. This is going to be quick. Everybody can look at their day tomorrow. So my day tomorrow, looking at it, my work blocks. You know what? The universe is one tricky little turkey today. There we go. So my work blocks where I can do this for hit my consistency for tomorrow is between 9:30 and 11:30 in the morning. So I'm going to work 2 hours in the morning and then I'm going to check in before bed. So I'm literally going to put that in my phone or write it down like an appointment with myself. And this is how you stay consistent, is you literally make these appointments with yourself. So let's set that time frame for tomorrow. Look ahead to Thursday, do the same. Friday, do the same. And if you take a day off, that's fine too. If it's only 10 minutes one day, that's fine too. You guys just find like a rhythm where you're at least showing up in some way, shape, or form. And when you're done, you can go ahead and put in the chat that you've got it planned. But I think that planning that first week of May, and that leads us right up to our opportunity call that Tabitha and I are doing, that I will not be a half hour late for, because then it'll be done on May 8th. So if knowing that, look at this, the first week of May leading up to an opportunity call, when are we showing up and what are we talking about for the next week? How can we make our content, our outside pieces of our jigsaw puzzle, match what our inside pieces are going to be, to then help bring them to the opportunity call? So I would have it in a focus of business. So Thursday, my day looks like I'll be working in the morning 7 to 9 a.m. and then here and there throughout the evening as I can with baseball. Okay, Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. You guys, I am not a morning person. I'm a night owl. I only get up and work 7 to 9 a.m. because if I don't do it then I'll be the person saying I don't have time because I didn't create the time. Okay, 7 to 9 on, my dad just texted me, extra CBD day. I got him on a whole regimen. He has ulcerative colitis and he had a colonoscopy today. And they found a spot that doesn't look good. So if everybody could keep them in their prayers, they took a biopsy and he's supposed to know in 7 to 10 days. But I'm like, Dad, increase your CBDA, increase your CBD today. He just texted me. He's like, you're right. Extra CBD day, like right now. Go, Dad. Anyway, okay, so plan those out and that's all I've got. I just got thrown off by that.
Yeah, no, that's good. And yes, I'll be praying for your dad. So the other thing too that I think is important is there's so many things coming in May and June and July. If we half-ass, excuse my language, show up, then we can't expect people to jump when there's something to really jump for. So, I think it's great when there's a promo, or it's great when there's like 10, whatever they're going to run. Okay. It's great. But then if we have just kind of been like not showing up and then there's a promo, but then, what I'm saying, it just doesn't, people just aren't going to jump in that way. And so how can we consistently show up each day with the nuggets, with something? And like, I think I've shared this before, but sometimes I just my mind, like I get overwhelmed very easy. And if I have all the things to do, I just sometimes freeze and I don't know what to do first or what's most important. So if you're that way too, think about what's one product that I can focus on. Like what's one product that I can educate on? So maybe it's the CBDA. Maybe it's just the jellies. Maybe you want to talk about the jellies. Maybe you want to talk about the pet. Like there's so many things, but instead of thinking about, oh my gosh, I need to share all these products, I need to share the business, and I need to, it's like just bite a chunk off and focus on that only. And you will be surprised as to like, it checks off your list and you feel accomplished. Like you actually did, you followed through with the commitment to yourself, but then you made it really manageable to share something. And it's nice when you can focus in, because sometimes we have a lot to say. I know I have a lot to say. And if I'm saying all the things, I don't like, no one's going to watch my stories for as much as I have to say. So I need to kind of keep it, kind of like keep it localized more so that I can, put something out there that they can bite off and chew. You know what I'm saying? So, okay. If you guys need anything the rest of the evening, like with closing anyone, you need any of us to put y'all in a three-way, or you need one of us to come in and try to close this for you. That's the other thing, that the only way to learn is to, and I'm not saying we know all the things and we have all the right verbiage, but if you're not feeling confident, just pull one of us in, and it's so nice to be able to learn, because I didn't feel comfortable when I first started this, even though I've done a business like this, I've not done anything with CBD. So it was all new. So until you feel confident, you're welcome to always put us in a chat, and we're happy to to do that.
Yes, and I want to piggyback on that because it often feels intimidating. Even me being in this I've been in network marketing for 11 years. When I came in, I pulled Tabitha into like every conversation for probably like 2 weeks and then like probably like a week and a half or 2 weeks. And then I felt confident. And it's funny because you think there's so much to learn. What's this? What's this? There's really not so much to learn. You learn the basics and then we're always asking little questions on top of it, but pulling people in is definitely a big one. I'm going to pop something in our team thread. I'm going to say tonight, but it might be tomorrow morning, where I'm going to literally give you my marketing plan for the next 7 days, what I'm sharing in my stories, not the exact slides, but like the product I'm going to focus on in my stories each day, the post and the real focus I'm going to have leading up to our opportunity call. And then that way it can kind of maybe give you guys, you can use it or you can see how it looks and recreate it for weeks to come, or I can do this here and there often. But I'll drop that in probably, let's be honest, tomorrow. Tomorrow is the day.
That's
Yes.
that'll be good to work off of. And then be thinking, you guys, I know that it seems like far away, like May 8th is our opportunity call. And I know that seems far away, but like it'll just be here in a flash. So be thinking about like, okay, who do I have that's a PC that would just come on and listen? Or who do I have that like, has done network marketing before, but they don't really do it much anymore or whatever, and then they would want to come and listen. So I like oftentimes like I'm just a notebook for people. Like, I don't got nothing fancy over here. Okay, this is what you see. Okay, this is my notes for the call tonight. How do you like that? And so I just will write a running list of just like people. Like I'll be like, oh yeah, and then I'll write them down, and it like I'll even write their Instagram handle because I'll be like I'll forget what they are and I can't find them, and so I'll just like get real specific. And so just jot down, like start a list now, because then it's like you get to that day or the day before, and then you have like a solid list to be like, okay, all of these people come to mind and I want to make sure that they're on this call and I want to invite them. And it's just nice because then you're prepared and you're not like scrambling the day of the call wishing you would have prepared for. So start now and then you'll have some solid leads for getting on that night. Because we're going to rock it, because I think May's going to just be like really great. I'm excited. I kind of know like a little bit of a promo that they're going to have, but I can't tell. So just stay tuned. It's going to be good.
Well, isn't it Mental Health Awareness Month? So like we should definitely be, talking about it with that.
Yeah, that is true. I like that. Yeah. I forget that because I feel like mental health is like every day. Like I'm just like, what? But you're right.
I know, it's right.
It is in May, so that's good. Yeah, and we're going to be Lindsay and I are going to be popping in a couple power hours here and there too. We're actually thinking we're going to do one Monday. We haven't like announced this, but we're pretty sure we're going to do one Monday leading up to the opportunity call on the 8th, so we can kind of focus more on like business conversations and gearing up for that, because I think that's helpful, because I know I've been there many times where I'm like, oh shoot, like here's the opportunity call and I haven't really invited to it. So hopefully that'll be helpful. So other things that are coming too that'll help you guys to build. So all right, well, you want to do a picture? I know that there's like half of us are left. There's only some of us still standing, but here we are.
I'm still standing.
Someone's trying to come in.
Come on in. Maybe they want their picture taken.
I'm gonna stop the recording.
Oh, you don't want to see me snap?
No, it's fine. But what? But should I let her in? Because we're done. We're done. I